Welcome back, former convicts. We're back in Gothic 2, and we're gonna go kill a few field raiders, I guess. Specifically for whatchamacallit. There are a couple of elixirs of dexterity, by the way, in chapter 1 we can get, and an elixir of strength we will eventually get. Okay. No, I'm not gonna fight too. And lag is the last thing I need right now. So you can actually see that we have a way better range with this thing, exemplified by the fact that they are trying to jump backwards way more than usual.
Nothing to be had there.
Now, let's kill his buddy as well. Come on, come on. Takes a while to get used to the range of a two-handed weapon. One of the best weapons we can get is actually a two-handed sword, which has...
Nothing there. Nothing to plunder.
If I'm not mistaken, the best range in the game. When it comes to... Okay, what was that? Who drew a weapon? Oh, you did. Dark mushroom over there. Okay.
Nothing there.
And corpses. There was a corpse that was dragged over here, or maybe he died trying to fight the field raiders, who knows. But since we have a two-handed weapon, we can actually handle that pesky lurker we missed last night. So let's take these plants that are growing near this tree, and if I'm not mistaken, there's also a bandit rapier on this little road over here. You can always activate the will of the wisp so it can track weapons you might be missing on the road. In total, you should have 25 bandit rapiers at the end of the chapter, so let's heal up before we're fighting. That would be a lovely idea, wouldn't it? So let's get some healing plants. So I'm kind of torn in this episode, but I think mostly we're gonna just talk to people on the farm, and in the next episode, next couple of episodes after that, we're just gonna spend them. Let's see if we can. Oh yeah, it's exactly what I wanted to happen. So yes, the will of the wisp will actually fight. Will try to fight at least. But it only has, I think, 1 hit point, and it dies in 1 hit, or maybe it has 5 hit points, I don't know. Basically, it's gonna try to help you in combat, at least to distract some enemies, but it's gonna die pretty fast anyway. It's nice to know that it really cares, and at one point I'm gonna have somebody, we're gonna have a chat with that will of the wisp, because I think it's kind of chatty. Now, let's see. I said we're gonna go to the farm, didn't I? So let's get to the farm. And I really love the weather effects in Gothic. I really love just how nice the rain sounds. It's so peaceful. It's... Damn, I sometimes, do you guys do this? Do you guys sometimes put rain sounds on YouTube just to fall asleep when you have trouble sleeping? I do that because I live in a city where we don't get a lot of rainfalls, unfortunately. But I always love the sound of the rain. It's so peaceful, so soothing, especially thunder. I don't get scared of thunder, quite the opposite. It relaxes me for some reason. Okay. Who knows, I might have been a windrunner in a past life, like in the Brandon Sanderson books. Which, by the way, I highly recommend to everybody. Now, let's talk to the boys, shall we? So we can start with Wolf, another guy from Gothic 1.
Doing all right?
Hey, I know you. From the colony.
Yep.
What do you want here?
I've come to join you.
Why not? I've got nothing against it. Anyway, you freed our mine from the guards back then. But don't count on getting along with the others here so easily. A lot of newbies have come along since then. And some of the old mercenaries won't remember you. I almost didn't recognize you. You look rather haggard.
When the barrier fell, I barely got away with my life.
Looks like you got lucky then.
Do you have anything to sell?
Oh, don't ask. Bennett, one of the new guys, takes care of the weapons and armor now. In the colony, I was responsible for Lee's entire weapons store. And then along came a trained smith and pow, I'm out of a job. I desperately need a new job, even if all I do is guard the farms out there. I don't care, just as long as I'm not twiddling my thumbs here anymore.
Can you teach me anything?
I can teach you a few tricks in handling a bow if you want. I don't have anything better to do right now anyway.
And? Found a new task yet?
Not so far. Let me know if you have a job for me.
Yeah, okay.
Have you tried finding a job in town?
In the city? Wild horses couldn't drag me there. Or do you think I would want to work there as a militia soldier? I can just imagine myself in the courtier's uniform, and then that obsession with obedience. Nah, forget it. There may not be anything to do here on the farm, but at least I can do what I want.
Yeah, okie dokie. Now, one of the first person people we want to talk to is Torloff, actually. Another friend from Gothic 1. Who is gonna handle our initiation, assuming you wanna join the mercenaries?
What do you want from me?
Grumpy bastard, aren't you? I never change, Torloff, never change.
I want to join the mercenaries.
Oh, and why do you think I should be in favor of you being accepted here?
I'm not telling you anything new.
Can you help me improve my abilities?
I could show you how to use your strength better in close combat. A lot of fighters are very weak because they don't have the technique to use their strength properly. The same is true for dexterity and ranged weapons.
Nobody will learn anything from me.
Put me to the test.
Put me to the test.
Did Lee send you to me?
No.
Then what are you blathering at me for?
Okay, then let's talk to Lee.
Hey, where you think you're going?
To the house, of course.
Onar pays us not to let guys like you in here.
I want to talk to Lee.
What do you want from him?
He and I go way back.
You're a pal of Lee's? I don't believe a word. But go on in. If he doesn't recognize you, you'll know it. Lee is in the right wing. Don't even think about wandering around anywhere else.
Okay. And he is gonna recognize us because his memory is better than most of you bastards.
You listen to the wrong people.
Hey,
Who
Lee.
the devil let you in here? What are you doing here? I thought you were dead.
What makes you think that?
Gorn told me it was you who brought down the barrier.
Yes, that was me, all right.
I never would have thought that a man could survive something like that. What brings you here? You aren't here without a reason.
Good old Gorn. We really need to buy that guy a beer, don't we?
I absolutely must talk to the paladins in town. Can you help me get to them?
What's your business with the paladins?
That's a long story.
I've got time.
Zardoz sent me on a mission. He wants me to obtain a powerful amulet, the Eye of Innos.
So you're still allied to that necromancer. I see. And the paladins have this amulet?
As far as I know, yes.
I can help you get to the paladins, but first you need to become one of us.
How can you help me get to the paladins?
Trust me, I've got a plan. I think you're the right man for it. I'll take you to the paladins, and you'll do me a favor, but first, join us.
What exactly are you doing here?
Quite simple. I'm gonna see to it that we all get off this island. Onar hired us to defend his farm, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. But our reward is more than just our pay. By helping the farmers, we cut the city off from its provisions. And the less the paladins have to eat, the sooner they'll listen when I finally make them an offer of peace.
What is your offer going to look like?
Essentially, it will be about our pardons and free passage to the mainland. You'll learn more when the time comes.
Gorn told you about me? What happened to him?
You remember him, don't you?
Of course.
Sure.
He got caught by the Paladins and was sent back to the Valley of Mines with a penal convoy. If the road to the Valley of Mines wasn't plastered with Paladins and Orcs, I'd have sent a couple of the boys already to free him. But the way things are, there's no point. Poor devil.
Ah, don't worry about that. I'm gonna rescue Gorn eventually.
I want to join you.
I'd hope you say that. I can use every able man here. The last mercenaries I accepted have done nothing but stir up trouble. In principle, you can start right away. Well, first there's one or two things we need to get straight, but it's no big deal.
What do I have to get straight before I can join you?
Onar, the landowner, is the one who employs us. You can only stay on the farm with his approval. And then there's the boys. I can only accept you if a majority of the mercenaries agree that you join us. But don't go to Onar before everything is straightened out. He's a very impatient fellow.
How can I convince the mercenaries to vote me in?
By doing what is expected of you as a mercenary, I should say. Talk to Torloff. He's usually outside in front of the house. He'll put you to the test. If you can pass that, you should have earned a large part of the necessary respect. He'll tell you everything else you need to know.
What do you know about the Ring of Water?
I might have known. You just have to mingle in everything, don't you?
Come on, tell me.
I'm only marginally involved in this. I know that this secret guild exists here and that the water mages are behind it. Since the fall of the barrier, I am no longer bound to the agreement I came to with the water mages back then. Of course, I still help when I can, but most of the time, I have my own problems and barely any time for other things. If you want to know more about it, you should probably talk to Cord. He's one of them, as far as I know.
I'm ready to join you.
Not before you've passed Tarloff's test.
Okay. So I like the fact that the mercenaries have a sort of democracy going where you actually need their votes to become part of them. Which is pretty good story design in my opinion. I mean, it makes sense.
Put me to the test.
Did Lee send you to me?
He said you would help me.
Fine, so here we go. There are two things you have to do before you can join us. First, you have to prove that you're capable of mastering the tasks that you will have to fulfill as a mercenary. I'll put you to the test. And second, you have to earn the respect of the other mercenaries.
Well, how can I earn the respect of the other mercenaries?
For most of them, it'll be enough if you fulfill your task and pass my test. But you'll have to find some other way of convincing some of them. Some will try and exploit your situation, and others may not like your mug. You should try to get along with as many of the boys as possible. But if nothing else helps, then you can always take part in a duel. If you win, you'll earn the respect of most of them. But watch out that you don't kill one of them by accident, because then you'll have a big problem.
What are the rules for a duel?
Quite simple. Both opponents have to have the opportunity to draw their weapons before the first blow. You can't just go and belt one of the men without warning. There has to be some sort of spoken challenge, an insult, or another reason to fight. None of the other men will interfere in a fight like that, unless one of the two gets killed in the duel.
Nothing amazes me anymore. You should really have known better.
How's my reputation among the mercenaries?
Let's see. Wolf says he has nothing against you joining. Sentenza will vote for you. He says you were a very reasonable man. Raul's against you. I think he can't stand you. I don't need to say anything about Silvio and Bolko. Those two morons are against everyone. Buster says you're okay. The rest of the mercenaries haven't said anything. Most of them are just waiting to see if you pass the test. You're far from done, kid. If you want us to accept you, you'll have to do something for it.
Okay.
That was obvious all along.
What about you? Will you vote me in?
If you can prove that you can fulfill the duties of a mercenary, yes.
So we're not gonna accept this quest just yet because it gives you a pretty important quest. We are, however, gonna visit this little chapel over here because it has, well, it has a meadow knotweed, which is a valuable plant, but it also has, where was that thing? A leather satchel, yes. A gold dish and a couple of silver candlesticks, tablet as well. Every little bit helps because we are poor again, and yeah, really sucks being poor, doesn't it? Now, this is the kitchen, and we're gonna talk to Jarvis because Jarvis has a challenge as well for us.
Hey, don't I know you from somewhere?
It's possible. I was in the colony too.
Right. What do you want?
How's the situation?
Right now, we've got real trouble. 2 factions are building up amongst us mercenaries. Silvio and his people doubt that Lee is following the right plan.
How come there are 2 factions?
Most of us came out of the colony with Lee back then, but some of the mercenaries hooked up with us later. They didn't come from the colony, but were farther south fighting the orcs. Somehow they got wind that Lee needed people. Their leader was Silvio. He agreed that Lee was in charge, but now he's trying to stir up the mercenaries against him and his plan. A lot of Lee's people don't think that it's a big problem, but I know guys like Silvio. He'll go to extremes to realize his ideas.
Do you know what Lee's intentions are?
Lee wants us to wait and starve the paladins in the city. He is planning to get us all away from the island, and Enos knows I've got nothing against getting away from here. I don't really know how he's planning to go about it, but I trust him. He's led us well so far.
Do you know what Silvio is planning?
Silvio found out that some of the paladins have moved out to the old colony. He says the rest of the paladins wouldn't dare to attack us here and wants to take advantage of the situation. Plunder the small farms, waylay the militia patrols outside the city, hold up travelers, things like that. But Lee thinks that would be the worst thing we could do in our situation.
I want to become a mercenary.
I'm not sure that's a good idea.
Where's the problem?
Well, I either have to vote for you or against you. And in the situation we're in, I'll only vote for you if I can be sure that you're on Lee's side.
So what should I do?
Simple. Beat up a few of Silvio's boys. That way both sides will know exactly where you stand. And if you stick to the rules for a duel, you'll even win the respect of the others.
What are the rules for a duel?
Go to Torlov and let him explain it if you're interested. Just so we understand each other. I don't care if you stick to the rules or not, just as long as the boys wind up out cold in the mud.
Which of the mercenaries are Silvio's men?
There are 6 men. First of all, Silvio himself and his right-hand man, Bulko. Then there's Rod, Sentenza, Fester, and Raoul. The rest of the people are either neutral or on Lee's side.
How many of Silvio's people should I defeat?
If you knock 3 of them to the ground, then you've proven which side you're on. Whom you choose is your business. Just one little hint. This isn't about proving your courage. Don't go up against Silvio himself. He'll make mincemeat out of you.
How many of Silvio's men are still on my list?
You haven't knocked down any of Silvio's men so far. I expect you to rough up at least 3 of them.
Okay. Now,
What are you doing here in my kitchen?
Something smells delicious here.
Oh, yes. I know the likes of you. They're swarming all over the place. First, they try to get on your good side, and then when you need them, they're nowhere to be seen.
I'm hungry.
I don't dish out food to tramps. I only feed people who work. And that mercenary riffraff, of course.
I'm looking for work.
You want to work here on the farm? Only Onar can decide that. The farm is his, and so is the entire valley.
Actually, I was planning to join the mercenaries.
So you're another of those felons from the penal colony? I might have known. Just leave me alone. There's already enough of your kind around here.
I need a place to sleep.
Don't even think about sleeping in my kitchen. Go find yourself a place in the barn.
What's your problem with the mercenaries?
Ah, those morons really get on my nerves, especially Silvio and his fat buddy Bulco. The two of them have been sitting in their corner for days now, making life miserable for me. The soup's too hot, the meat's too tough, etc. and so forth.
Then why don't you do anything about it?
And what am I to do, Mr. Smarty Pants? Whack them with my rolling pin? I can do that to the farmers, but these lowly bastards just hit back.
You don't have to ask me to step in.
Want me to teach the two of them some manners?
You better not try that, honey. As far as I know, Silvio has magic armor. He can't be defeated.
And what about Bulco?
That guy is as strong as an ox. So far, he has flattened anyone who tried to mess with him or Silvio.
Things I could tell you.
Okay. Let's go talk to more of the mercenaries.
Hello, I'm new here.
Don't take this the wrong way, but I'm not really in the mood for conversation. I'm totally wrecked.
You're awfully busy, huh?
You can say that again. Bennett makes so many weapons that I can hardly keep up with the polishing.
What can you tell me about the farm?
This is Onar's farm. That big building is his house. He vacated a wing for the mercenaries. We farmers have had to bunk in the barn ever since. But it's all right with me. It's good that we have people who guard the farm. The building here is the kitchen. Maybe you'll be lucky and Thekla will have something for you to eat.
That's all just gossip.
What about the mercenaries?
Onar hired them to keep the city militia off our backs, but they also guard the farm, the sheep, and us farmers. So don't even think about stealing anything or rummaging around in somebody's chest. They're just waiting for a chance to knock you down.
Can I buy weapons from you?
I don't have much. We take almost all the swords and axes into Onar's house.
Gonna buy your food though. So I'm not supposed to rummage in people's chests, am I? Like this? Nobody seems to have any issue with this particular chest. Some raw steel, mandible, saw, tools. Okay. Let's talk to Bennett.
Hey, you! I do not sell any weapons. Khaled does. He's in the house with Onar.
What kinds of weapons do you make?
Plain swords at the moment, not much else. But if I had some magic ore, I could forge weapons that are better than all comparable weapons made from regular old steel. You wouldn't happen to know where to find some around here. Besides in the Valley of Mines, I mean.
No.
Of course not.
Are you with the farmers or the mercenaries?
You're pulling my leg, aren't you?
I was just curious.
Have you ever seen a farmer who also forges weapons?
No.
Then why do you ask such stupid questions?
I want to join the mercenaries.
Stop blabbering then. Go to Torloff and let him put you to the test.
Can you teach me how to forge a sword?
Sure. That'll cost you a bit, though. Let's say 30 gold pieces. It can't go on like this forever.
Fine. Here's 30 for you.
And that was a damn good price, too. We can start as soon as you're ready.
Okay, 2 learning points and we only have 1.
Teach me how to forge magic ore weapons.
But you don't even know the basics. First, you need to learn how to forge a decent sword. Then we'll see.
What about forging equipment?
What do you need?
We are gonna buy all of the raw steel he has. And we are poor again. Figures. Okay. Let's talk to more people, shall we? Let's talk to Cypher.
How are things?
Hey, don't I know you from somewhere?
It's possible.
I used to deal in swamp weed back in the colony. Remember?
And what are you dealing in now?
Ah, don't ask. I brought a whole package of swamp weed with me from the mining colony. Many of the mercenaries like a little smoke now and then. I've earned a small fortune on the side. But some bastard stole all the weed from my chest. I'm pretty sure it was that Bodo. He bunks in the same room as me, and he always grins at me like such an idiot.
What are you going to do about the thief then?
One of these days, I'll catch him puffing away on my weed. And then, I'll find a quiet spot and teach him a lesson he won't forget. If I knock him down here in the middle of the yard, the other farmers will notice, and I'll pay an arm and a leg.
How come?
Quite simple. We can't rough up the farmers, otherwise Lee makes us pay a heavy fine. That's the way Onar wants it. And the more witnesses there are, the more of a fuss there is. That makes things more expensive. So I'll pull the thing off nice and inconspicuously.
I want to join Lee's people.
Lee's people? If Lee keeps on this way, they soon won't be his anymore.
Why?
Lee has always been a quiet one. It was that way in the colony too. But lately, he's overdoing it. He just wants to sit here and wait until the paladins drop dead from starvation. Silvio thinks we should clean up a bit on the small farms and outside the city. I think that would make for an excellent change. At the moment, most of us are just twiddling our thumbs here. Do you want to join up anyway?
I want to become one of you no matter what.
You already know that we take a vote on every new recruit.
What are you hinting at?
Well, I haven't had anything to smoke in a long time. Bring me a few swamp weed reefers and you got my vote. You can surely scare some up someplace.
Show me your wares.
I don't have any swamp weed at the moment. Do you want something else?
Okay. So, here's the thing about Cypher. He is a broken merchant in the sense that if you sell anything to him, you can beat him up and take his inventory all over again. Basically how merchants were back in Gothic 1. And you can exploit this to get infinite gold in the game. We're not gonna do that, by the way. We are gonna beat him up at one point just for experience and get his stuff, but I don't want to be exploity in the game. Exploits basically just ruin the balance of any game. I'm just pointing it out for you if you want to do it. I kind of enjoy being a poor asshole in this game, to be honest. It makes the game much more challenging, much more fun, not having money. So we're going to save the game right here, and I'm going to see you guys in the next episode, where we are going to talk a bit more with people on the farm, and afterwards we are gonna do some more killing so we can level up and get to level 10 and 11. So I want to wish you guys a wonderful day, and if you really like the video or the series or Gothic in general, you can always buy me a coffee to support the channel and it really help a lot. The link is in the video description, and as always guys, remember, the most important story in the world is your own. Cheers and take care of yourselves.